Once upon a time in a big city, there lived a very rich man named Mr. Harrison. He was a billionaire, one of the richest men anyone could ever meet. He loved his family very much, especially his young daughter named Emily, who had been missing for many years. Emily disappeared when she was only 7 years old. It was a day full of sunshine, but after that day, she was gone without a trace. Mr. Harrison and his wife searched everywhere, called the police, talked to neighbors, and posted flyers everywhere with Emily's picture, but nobody found her. Years passed, and the pain of losing Emily stayed in Mr. Harrison's heart. He felt like a part of him was missing forever. Many nights he stared at old photographs of Emily, hoping against hope to see her again. He never gave up searching and always believed she was alive. One morning, Mr. Harrison went to visit a building he owned downtown for a meeting with his staff. As he walked through the lobby, he noticed a new worker cleaning the floors. She was a young black woman with bright eyes. Her face looked strangely familiar to him. It was as if he saw pieces of Emily in her. At first, he thought maybe it was just his imagination. The pain of losing Emily might be playing tricks on his mind, but as he looked closer, he felt a powerful feeling that this woman could be connected to his missing daughter. The way she moved, the shape of her face, even the way she smiled reminded him of Emily. Mr. Harrison decided to watch her over the next few days without telling anyone. He wanted to know more. She worked quietly and never spoke much. But Mr. Harrison noticed something in her eyes, a kind of sadness that he remembered so well from Emily's old photos. Feeling both hope and fear, Mr. Harrison wanted to learn the woman's story, so he asked his assistant to find out who she was. Her name was Amina, and she came from a small town far away. She had a difficult past, having grown up in an orphanage with no family to take care of her. The story of Amina touched Mr. Harrison's heart. The more he learned, the more he felt she might be Emily. But he knew he had to be careful. It was a big risk to jump to conclusions based only on looks and feelings. He decided to talk to Amina himself one afternoon. Mr. Harrison invited Amina to his office. He told her he wanted to know about her life, and slowly, Amina shared her story, telling about her childhood in the orphanage, the struggles she faced, and how she came to work in the city. She didn't know anything about her parents or where she came from. Mr. Harrison felt a mix of emotions during their talk: hope, sadness, and fear. Could this really be his Emily? He wanted to believe it, but he also worried about how Amina would feel if he was wrong. So he promised to help her find out the truth. Together, they started to search for proof. Mr. Harrison hired private detectives to check Amina's background, old records, and anything that could link her to Emily. Finally, they found a clue: a birth certificate with a name similar to Emily's and the same birth date. This small piece of evidence gave them a new hope. But Mr. Harrison wanted more than just a paper, to be sure. He wanted to know for certain that Amina was his daughter, someone so loved and missed for so long. He offered to take a DNA test, something that would tell without a doubt if they were related. Amina was scared but agreed. She wanted to know the truth too. A few days later, the results came back, and when Mr. Harrison saw them, he could hardly believe his eyes. The test showed that Amina was indeed his long-lost daughter, Emily, alive and standing in front of him after all those years. The man who had lost so much found a piece of his heart again. But with that joy came many new questions and feelings he was not ready for. How would Amina feel about suddenly being part of a rich family and learning her real story? How could they heal from the years lost? Mr. Harrison knew this was only the beginning of a long journey for both of them. So in that busy city, a billionaire and a young woman started to rebuild the bond that time had tried to erase, with hope, pain, and love all mixed together. Months passed after Mr. Harrison's shocking discovery, but the story was far from over. Even though the DNA test proved Amina was his daughter, Emily, there were still many questions and deep emotions waiting to be understood. Mr. Harrison invited Amina to live in his home, but she was not ready to leave the small apartment she had grown used to. Her world was very different from the billionaire's luxurious life, and she felt nervous and unsure about what the future held. Despite their growing bond, Amina struggled with the new reality that she was suddenly part of a rich family. She had spent most of her life believing she had no parents, no past, and now everything was changing. School friends, old habits, and even the way she saw herself began to shift. One day, Mr. Harrison took Amina to visit the places she had spent her childhood. The orphanage where she grew up was small and plain, but for her it was home for many years. She walked slowly through the dusty halls, her heart full of memories she never fully understood. The workers at the orphanage remembered Amina well, and when they heard about her new life, they were happy but also sad. Amina felt a mix of pride and pain, knowing she had escaped a hard life but lost so much time with her real family. Meanwhile, in the city, people began talking about the billionaire and his long-lost daughter. Gossip columns shared her photos, and strangers recognized Amina on the street. The sudden attention was overwhelming, and Amina found it hard to trust those around her. Mr. Harrison's wife, Mrs. Harrison, was kind but careful. She wanted to welcome Amina, but she also worried about how the family's past problems would affect their lives moving forward. Family dinners were quiet, with many unspoken feelings and questions hanging in the air. One evening, Amina asked Mr. Harrison why no one had found her before, why she had been left all alone for so long. The billionaire's eyes filled with tears as he explained the efforts he had made, how the police had searched, how he prayed every night for her safe return. "I never stopped looking for you," he said. "But sometimes, life can be cruel and mysterious." Amina listened carefully, feeling both sadness and understanding to help Amina adjust. Mr. Harrison offered to send her to a good school, where she could learn about the world she had missed. At first, Amina was hesitant, afraid she would not fit in with children from rich families, but with her father's gentle encouragement, she agreed to try. At school, Amina faced new challenges. Some students were curious, others jealous. She sometimes felt like an outsider, caught between two worlds, the poor past she wanted to forget and the wealthy future she did not yet understand. Yet Amina had a quiet strength, growing stronger every day. Her teachers noticed her hard work and kindness. She made a few friends who accepted her without questions, and slowly, she began to believe in herself and her place in the world. Even as Amina changed, Mr. Harrison still faced difficulties. Business problems, family pressures, and the public's constant attention made it hard to focus on the most important thing, his daughter. But he never let go of her hand or the hope for a happy future. Together, they started to repair what had been broken by time. Building trust step by step, Amina shared stories of her life in the orphanage, and Mr. Harrison told stories of Emily's early years, the games she loved and the dreams they once shared. Despite the distance of years, their hearts slowly came closer. But the path to healing was not simple or straight. Many challenges waited ahead, including facing people from the past who had secrets to hide and dealing with Amina's feelings of identity and belonging. This was only the beginning of a story about love, loss, discovery, and the power of family, standing strong even where fate once seemed cruel and unfair. The moment Mr. Harrison and Amina got the DNA test results, it felt like a new world had opened before them. The test proved that Amina was truly Emily, his lost daughter. But with the truth came many questions and surprises that neither of them expected. Amina wanted to know more about her early life, about how she disappeared and why no one had come to find her sooner. Mr. Harrison, filled with both sorrow and determination, began to dig deeper into the past, searching old files, police reports, and records from years ago. It was during this search that a shocking discovery was made. Amina's adoption record showed that while she had grown up believing she was an orphan, she was actually taken from a rich family long ago, and the details were confusing and painful. The records revealed that Amina's mother was a black woman who had once lived in the same city. But under difficult circumstances, she was Emily's real mother, but had to give her up for reasons kept secret for many years. The family history was more complicated than anyone knew. Mr. Harrison was stunned. He had believed Emily's mother had disappeared or passed away, but learning that she was still out there, and that Amina had been caught in a system that separated children from their birth families, was heartbreaking. Amina struggled to understand her own identity after this news. She felt torn between the life she had and the history she was just discovering. Questions about race, family, and belonging filled her mind. She wondered how her life would change now that she knew the truth. As they dug deeper, Mr. Harrison found old letters and photographs hidden in a forgotten box in his estate. Photos of a little girl that looked like both Emily and Amina, and letters between his wife and the girl's mother, full of love and sadness, about sacrifices made and promises to reunite someday. These letters revealed a secret agreement. The mother had given up her daughter to keep her safe but hoped someday to be found again. It was a story of love that had been lost in the harshness of life and kept hidden by shame and fear. The truth was heavy on Mr. Harrison's heart, but he knew that to heal their family, they had to face it head-on without fear. He shared everything with Amina, helping her understand where she came from, and that the love for her had never disappeared. Amina found strength in this knowledge even when it was painful. She realized that her life was more than just the hardships she had faced. It was a story of survival, love, and hope that continued to grow each day. Slowly, Amina and Mr. Harrison began to reach out to people from the past, trying to find Emily's mother and other family members. It was not easy. Many doors were closed and some people did not want to talk. But they never gave up. Along the way, they met kind strangers who helped them piece together the past, each small discovery like a candle lighting up the dark memories. It was a journey not just of finding family, but of healing old wounds. The billionaire's life changed completely as he learned to see beyond money and power. What mattered most was family, love, and the truth that connected them all. He promised Amina that no matter what, she would never feel alone again. For Amina, the painful past became a source of strength, a reminder that even when everything seems lost, hope and love can find their way. This was a story about courage, acceptance, and the power of truth to bring light to the darkest places. The journey to discover the full story of Emily's past was just beginning. But with each step, Mr. Harrison and Amina grew closer, ready to face whatever came next together. After the shocking truths about her past surfaced, Amina found herself overwhelmed by the flood of emotions that came rushing in. She was no longer just the black worker from the city or the girl from the orphanage. She was Emily, the billionaire's missing daughter, and that changed everything. One afternoon, Mr. Harrison invited Amina to his private garden, a calm place where they could talk without interruptions. He wanted to hear from her directly, to understand how she felt and to share his feelings too. Amina, he began softly, I want you to know that I never stopped believing you were out there somewhere. And now that we have found you, I want us to be a family. But only if you want that too. Amina looked down, her heart pounding. I don't know who I really am anymore, she said, her voice trembling. All my life I thought I had no family, no one, and now I'm supposed to believe I am part of all this. This wealth, this love? Mr. Harrison nodded with understanding. It's a lot to take in, and you don't have to decide anything right away, he said. But I want you to know that you are loved, no matter what. Their conversation was interrupted that day by a knock at the door. It was Mrs. Harrison, who had been thinking about how to reach out to Amina with kindness. She stepped inside and gave Amina a warm smile. Welcome to our family, she said, and the simple words brought tears to Amina's eyes. But beneath the warmth were feelings of doubt and fear. Amina wondered if she belonged here, if she could ever fit into a family she had never known. As days passed, she struggled with anger at the years lost and sadness for the moments she would never have with her real parents. One evening, Amina finally spoke her mind clearly. I feel like I'm living two lives, she confessed. One where I am alone and another where everyone expects me to be this billionaire's daughter. But I don't know how to be that person. Mr. Harrison took her hands gently. You don't have to be anyone but yourself, he said. We will walk this journey together. Step by step, Amina's story had already captured the attention of many. But in private moments like this, it became clear how much healing was needed beyond the headlines. Mr. Harrison realized that love was patient. It was kind and it required time. As the days turned to weeks, Amina started opening up more about her feelings. She told Mr. Harrison about the loneliness of growing up without a family, about the struggles in the orphanage and the simple dreams she had held on to. He listened carefully, never rushing her or judging. Their bond grew stronger, built on honesty and trust. They laughed together when Amina shared stories about her favorite games as a child, and cried quietly over the pain of lost time. One important moment came when Amina asked about her mother. Do you think she's out there still looking for me too? She wondered aloud. The question brought a fresh wave of hope and determination to find answers for everyone involved. Mr. Harrison promised to help her find her mother, knowing that answers would bring both joy and pain, but that was part of their journey now together. In this quiet garden, a billionaire and his daughter faced the challenge of healing old wounds, learning to love again after years of separation. The story was not just about money or fame, but about the deep and complicated ties that make a family real. Their journey was just beginning, with hardship ahead but also the promise of new beginnings. After the emotional moments and the growing bond between Mr. Harrison and Amina, there remained one important step to be taken before their story could truly begin. Both of them knew that simply feeling like father and daughter was not enough. They needed proof that would silence doubt forever. Mr. Harrison suggested a DNA test, a modern way to test if two people were truly related by blood. Amina was nervous but understood this was necessary. She wanted to know the truth just as much as her father did. They went to a small, quiet clinic in the city, where a kind nurse took simple samples from both of them. Just a tiny swab inside their cheeks. But such a small test held the power to change their lives completely. While waiting for the results, both Amina and Mr. Harrison felt a mix of emotions, hope, fear, and uncertainty filled their hearts. What if the test said no? What if this was all a mistake? Or what if the new life waiting for Amina was only a dream? Amina spent her days trying to keep busy, helping around the house and getting to know her new surroundings. But at night, she lay awake thinking about the future. The uncertainty was heavy, but she also felt an unspoken connection growing with Mr. Harrison, as if their hearts already knew the truth. Finally, the day of the results arrived. Mr. Harrison's assistant brought the envelope to the house. Both father and daughter sat together, hands shaking as they opened the envelope slowly. The test confirmed what both of their hearts had already guessed. Amina was indeed Emily, the billionaire's long-lost daughter, related by blood without any doubt. Tears flowed freely as they embraced. Years of pain and waiting melted away in that moment. The truth was a powerful gift, but also a heavy responsibility to build a new life on what had been lost. News of the discovery spread quickly, and soon the world knew about the billionaire and his daughter who had been found after so many years. Journalists and cameras followed their every move, and Amina suddenly became a public figure overnight. The attention was overwhelming, and Amina struggled to adjust to this new reality. She was still the same person with the same dreams. But now she was also part of a wealthy family that watched her every step. Mr. Harrison stood by her side through it all, shielding her from the worst of the media storm. He knew that their journey was far from over, and that true healing would take time beyond the headlines. Amina started taking steps to learn about her heritage, attending family events and meeting relatives she never knew existed. It was both exciting and scary. But she faced each day with courage. For Mr. Harrison, these moments were bittersweet. He was grateful to have his daughter back, but saddened by the years lost. He promised himself that he would do everything to give her the love and care she deserved. As father and daughter, they planned for the future, dreaming of a life where the past's shadows would not hold them back. The DNA test was not just proof of biology. It was a symbol of hope and new beginnings. Together, they began to write the next chapter of their story, one filled with love, forgiveness, and the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead. After the DNA test confirmed their connection, Mr. Harrison decided to arrange a family reunion, inviting not only Amina, but also other relatives who had long been separated. The reunion was set in the billionaire's estate, a grand home filled with memories and new hopes. Amina arrived with a mix of excitement and nervousness, stepping into a world she had never imagined. Family members, some she had never met, waited to welcome her with open arms, but also with questions and curiosity about the girl who disappeared years ago. The atmosphere was both joyful and tense. Old wounds and grudges lingered beneath the smiles. Not everyone was ready to accept Amina without hesitation. Some relatives doubted her story, while others welcomed her warmly, eager to reconnect. Mr. Harrison worked hard to ease tensions, encouraging everyone to focus on love and healing. Family dinners became times to share stories, laugh, and sometimes cry together. But the journey to acceptance was slow, filled with misunderstandings and moments of doubt. Amina struggled with her new identity in the family. Adjusting to the wealth and status was hard. She missed the simplicity of her old life. The pressure to live up to the family's expectations weighed on her, and she sometimes felt caught between two worlds. At the same time, the public's curiosity grew. Reporters and social media followed the family closely. Amina's privacy was invaded, and she had to learn how to protect herself from strangers' questions and judgments. Despite the difficulties, she found comfort in some family members who became close friends and supporters. Together, they helped her navigate the complex emotions and changes, reminding her that family is not just about blood but about love and trust. Mr. Harrison faced challenges too, balancing his business and public life with being a father. He knew that proving his love through actions was more important than words, and he promised to be there for Amina no matter what. The reunion also sparked conversations about forgiveness and the past. Family members began to discuss old mistakes, secrets, and misunderstandings that had kept them apart slowly. The family began to heal old scars and build new connections. For Amina, the reunion was a turning point. It showed her the power of family and the possibility of new beginnings. She still carried the pain of her past, but with support and love. She started to believe in a brighter future. This chapter of their story was about hope and the strength to overcome adversity, reminding everyone that even after great loss, families can find their way back to each other. After Amina's reunion with her billionaire father and extended family, news of her discovery spread quickly through the media. The story of the missing daughter, found as a humble worker, captured the public's imagination, and journalists rushed to uncover every detail. Suddenly, Amina was no longer just a private individual, but a public figure whose life was open to scrutiny. Paparazzi photographed her everywhere. Social media buzzed with opinions, and strangers on the street recognized her as the billionaire's daughter. The public attention was overwhelming for Amina, who had lived a simple life before the reunion. She was unprepared for the sudden fame and the pressure that came with it. Every action she took was analyzed and commented on by people she did not know. Mr. Harrison worked hard to protect Amina from the worst of the media frenzy. But even with security and privacy measures, the spotlight never seemed to go away. The experience was both exciting and frightening, and it forced Amina to grow quickly in ways she had never imagined. She faced questions about her background, her feelings toward her father, and how she planned to live in the future. Some stories in the media were kind and inspiring. Others were invasive and cruel, designed to create drama. These stories often misunderstood or exaggerated the complexity of Amina's journey. Even close friends found it hard to support her as she navigated fame, and some relationships became strained or distant. Amina sometimes felt isolated despite being surrounded by people, as the world expected her to be strong and perfect. At the same time, the public revelation brought unexpected opportunities. Amina was invited to speak at events about family, loss, and hope. She used this platform to share her story honestly, encouraging others facing hardship to keep believing in second chances. Mr. Harrison and Amina also began working with charitable organizations focused on children in orphanages and families affected by separation. They wanted to use their story to help others and bring attention to important causes. This newfound purpose gave Amina strength, helping her cope with the challenges of fame and public life. She learned to set boundaries and prioritize her well-being. Supported by her family's love and understanding, despite the difficulties, the public revelation was a turning point in their story, marking a new chapter filled with both challenges and possibilities. Amina was no longer a lost child, but a young woman who had faced the world's eyes and still held on to hope and courage. The journey ahead was not easy, but with her father by her side, she was ready to meet it with honesty and grace. After all the public attention and family reunions, the real work of healing began for Mr. Harrison and Amina, now reunited. They faced the challenge of building a relationship across years of loss, uncertainty, and change. Mr. Harrison often thought about how wealth could never fill the empty years without his daughter. He realized that money and power were small compared to the simple things: trust, time, and love. Both of them had to learn how to heal from pain that had lasted for so long. Amina struggled with feelings of identity and belonging. She was caught between two worlds, the humble life she had known and the rich family she had entered. Sometimes she felt like she did not fit in either place, but her father's steady support helped her find confidence. Family dynamics were complicated. Not everyone welcomed Amina easily. Long-held resentments and jealousy surfaced, and sometimes the demands of business and public life made it hard to focus on healing. But through it all, Mr. Harrison worked to create peace and understanding. Both father and daughter sought professional help. Counseling sessions gave them a safe space to talk about fears, hopes, and frustrations. They also learned the importance of setting boundaries to protect their relationship from outside pressures. Mr. Harrison became more aware of the silent struggles within his wealthy family. The challenge was not just managing assets, but caring for emotional needs, resolving conflicts, and fostering genuine connections. He realized that true success meant a healthy, loving family, not just financial achievements. Amina also found strength in helping others. She started volunteering with organizations that supported children in orphanages and families, dealing with separation. Sharing her story brought her healing and gave hope to many. Together, they began to plan for a future where their family could be whole again. The past would not be forgotten, but it would no longer control their lives. They dreamed of days filled with laughter, understanding, and new memories made together in the end. Their story was about more than loss and discovery. It was a reminder that even the deepest wounds can heal with time, love, and courage. A family broken by fate could still find its way back to each other, stronger than before.